Hey, Crystal Maiden here for the extra part of Sonic Generations. I already showed off the Werehog mod and my showcasing of Eggman Land for Sonic Generations and the Unleash project show off. I'm gonna be showing off a lot of things here, like for one, how Supersonic works. Now, Supersonic in Generations is kind of a disappointment. I've heard that it doesn't really jump higher when you're Classic Sonic, which is sort of the point, aside from the invincibility. And when you're Modern Sonic, he's literally just a play the game for you button. Like, it's not very fun, because you just hold down the boost button, and he just automatically goes the right way. But they actually made a mod called Supersonic as you truly imagined it that actually fixes that, so that Supersonic can actually be controlled. Now the weird thing is, I deactivated that mod and showed it off deactivated in this video, but I couldn't really see a difference, which is weird. So maybe it's that the PC version actually, except if that were the case, then they wouldn't have made the mod in the first place. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, what I'm showing off here is 100% save file Sonic Generations that I downloaded from the internet. And this shows off a huge amount of skills that you can get. I forgot to show off the skills that you can get for Classic Sonic. Or maybe I did already? I think maybe they only show off the skills that you can equip as the Sonic that you're playing as during the skill customizing thing. I don't know. But the point is, there's a lot of skills, like you can extend the range of your homing attack and whatnot. Some of the skills really should have been there from the default. And while there are a lot of skills, it just makes it frustrating that you can only equip so many of them. Like the Supersonic skill forces you to not use any other skills. I basically got practically all of the musics, like, legitimately, but there were just a few that I had to get with the 100% save file mod. So I have no idea how I'm supposed to. I guess you have to get red rings, because sometimes you can unlock songs from red rings. You can actually, I like how in the character profiles you can change Tails to look like he's Classic Tails, but you can't do that for Knuckles or Amy. It's especially glaring for Amy because she has the most different looking Classic profile. There are actually codes on the internet that you can use to get like over 50 different statues here, because basically Sega would tie these codes to merchandise, not realizing that people would just put the codes up on the internet, so there's no real reason to buy the merchandise. They actually, basically, there is actually, see these cutscenes here? These cutscenes did not play if you just regularly started up the DLC. So you actually need to use a mod to see these cutscenes, which is really stupid. I think if you're playing the game, like, not on the PC version, then you can see him just fine. He looked really weird there. Like he had a fisheye mouth and stuff like that. I really like the song, like the jazz music. It's actually the level theme song of Modern Casino Night Zone for Generations 3DS. Here, this is literally just a pinball table. Like, everyone was expecting a fully fledged level, so I don't know why they thought that this would be acceptable. Like, they never really bothered making actual DLC for this game. Like, this doesn't really count. I guess maybe they didn't have enough time and money. And it would be kind of redundant considering just how many level mods were made for the PC version of this game. Making DLC levels would be redundant, because we already have a huge amount of extra levels as it is. It's just fan created. The console and PC versions have a white design on the top and bottom, whereas the 3DS version has a blue design. Coincidentally, the consoles and handhelds Japanese names are White Time and Space and Blue Adventures. Why did they feel the need to give them these names? I mean, it makes sense for like White Time and Space because it's the white void, and Blue Adventures because they're blue hedgehogs, I guess. I don't know. I guess it does make sense. Cool, you can like fly! That's pretty cool. You can actually do that in episode Metal as Metal Sonic without even having the super form. I think if you go super as Metal Sonic, then you turn to Neo Metal Sonic from Sonic Heroes. The one that you don't get to fight because he transforms into a stupid dragon thing instead. And I don't have very many lives here, and that's because I restarted my file from I think I lost all those lives to Eggman Land or some other level mod. I buy back to 99 lives later though. In the console and PC versions, the drowning countdown starts at 4 rather than 5. Although a different tone is played before the countdown starts. Underwater warning beeps are much more prominent in the console version. I don't really like how when you get to a checkpoint for a level that you've already played, it tells you it shows time. I don't really like that because it feels like it's insulting you for not doing as good as you did the last time. It's satisfying if you did better, but it's good that it's color-coded though. It took me forever to find out that you can actually do more than one type of trick. You don't just press down on the D-pad, you can also press other directions too. And there I also showed off the controller input, hint things. They can actually tell you that you can quick step to get the dash pad. I really like how they give Supersonic his own victory animation. That's pretty cool. And obviously I've got some kind of mod going here because the white void actually makes sense. Because you're clearly walking on snow here rather than just walking on some random white floor. Why couldn't it look like this in the original game? I don't understand that. And of course I'm going to be playing a pretty good song here. This is What I'm Made Of, which is actually my favorite song in the entire Sonic franchise. Unfortunately, it doesn't really go well with the level, because the level itself isn't really that awesome. This is Destroyed Cityscape. Destroyed Cityscape is basically a much harder and more bullshit version of Cityscape. For a second I thought the RT and LT controller prompts looked like the Wiimote. So that was weird. But yeah, they basically add a lot more bottomless pits in a snowboarding section where you're forced to constantly move forward, so yeah, that's fair. At least you can actually see them coming, unlike in a 2D game. But another thing is they also changed the level layout and stuff. It has a cool aesthetic. Kind of depressing though. I think I prefer the original. This is bullshit. It sent you into a bunch of enemies during an orange ring. You're supposed to be safe when going through those things. But yeah, this song does go back and forth between being my favorite song in the franchise. Easily the best boss theme. There's a massive amount of enemies here. Why does that ring send me backwards? That is really weird. That never actually happens in the actual game. I guess that's supposed to be a sign that they changed the level layout so that you're not supposed to go that way. But you had to fight a whole bunch of enemies, and I don't really think that Sonic should be about the combat, because with combat, literally all you're doing is just mashing the A button again and again, and it just takes a long time. See, that rainbow ring sent me backwards, so how was I supposed to know that I was still supposed to go forwards? It's confusing. And you boost right into a wall here. Again, this area really isn't designed well for Boost Sonic. And why are there spikes there? Like, you're guaranteed to boost up that wall, so you're guaranteed to get hit by the spikes. This takes place in the Dreamcast era, and the Dreamcast era is the only era in which Eggman is not a boss in Generations. Instead, you fight Chaos, which is pretty appropriate considering its prominent use of the Monster of the Week formula in the Dreamcast era, which had a final boss that was actually cinematic, rather than, you know, incredibly underwhelming. Like, seriously, like, I can't really take Eggman seriously as a final boss, because he doesn't really feel like an actual character to me. He just feels like someone who's just there for the sake of being a villain. He feels very lazy. And like, a 3D game is supposed to be a little more epic on a grand scale. Because otherwise, it's just really underwhelming. Like Sonic Runner's Adventure, and Sonic Runners as well, I guess, they have plots, even though they're mobile games. They have plots surrounding around Sonic basically rescuing animals who were put into badniks. It's basically a day in the life of Sonic the Hedgehog. And you know, that's cool for a mobile game. But I don't want to see that kind of plot in a Sonic game that's a 3D game that's supposed to be a lot more epic and significant. I want more interesting villains than just Eggman. And no, that doesn't involve boring Monsters of the Week either, because sadly most of the Monsters of the Week end up being even more boring than Eggman himself, because they're still just villains for the sake of being villains. Either way, they don't really interest me. Like, Eraser Jin doesn't interest me. He's just evil for no reason. The only time they really did a Monster of the Week right was Shadow. Chaos came close, but he didn't talk, so he didn't really feel like an actual character. And again, this is pretty cool. And I know that I don't have the play the game for you thing here, because I can just walk around freely. In the E3 demo of Green Hill Act 2, when the game was in early development, at the beginning of the stage, Sonic himself said, "Ready, go!" Just like in Sonic Unleashed HD. Yeah, this is what they do if you play a Tails mission as Tails. I really like how they made that actual change. That's pretty cool. And it looks so official too, like it actually looks like something the official game made. Why? Why? I don't understand. Is that supposed to be a glitch? Does it glitch out when you get tired? See, I don't really see the point of allowing you to fly if you die when you tire out. And you can't actually fly in 3D, which surprised me to find out, because when I tried boosting in midair as Tails in a mission in Sky Sanctuary Zone, I froze the game. So I thought that it was telling me that I couldn't do that. Like, a lot of the times I'll have issues where the game will crash when I air boost with character mods. So I end up instinctively trying not to do that when I have character mods enabled. And sometimes it's like specific missions that will kind of throw a tantrum on me when I have like certain character mods there. And this is perhaps my favorite mod in Sonic Generations as a whole that isn't the Unleashed project. I actually thought that this would be a lot more annoying because I would constantly get stopped by walls. Like, you can fly! You can like fly over those grinding rails. The thing is that the boosting in this game is so mindless that it doesn't really matter that you're going way too fast for you to properly react. You can also jump really high too. Like, look at this. You're moving so fast. This is so much more thrilling. I love this. I want to play every level in the game like this. I was worried that having this mod enabled would make the game way too hard, because I would constantly get stopped by walls that came up too fast for me to react to them. But I think that's more of a problem in Unleashed. The Unleashed levels where you have to actually, you know, drift, because you actually run to walls rather than just boosting forwards. But yeah, this is really cool. And I'm glad that I fell down there, because this means I get to show off the lower route. if you hold back on the control stick after the floor crumbles, then that can prevent you from falling down there. And if you slide, then I believe you can prevent the floor from crumbling, or you can do something to get off the floor before it crumbles without being sent downwards. And I like this. I like how you can jump up, you can jump over rail spikes. It's more interesting than just rail switching. If a ring box is destroyed in the console and PC versions, the sound when a player gets a ring will sound 10 times instead of 1, so you define that you got a lot of rings. In the 3DS version, it only sounds once. In Sonic Chronicles, Tails recognizes Green Hill Zone just fine, which is weird because you'd expect him to at least mistake it for Emerald Hill. The thing is that he was 3 years old when he first saw Emerald Hill though, so I guess it kinda makes sense. But it's like he doesn't recognize Green Hill at all in this game.